Hey everybody. Hope you're doing well. It's going to be just me today. Taylor is out of the country in Canada having some fun. Taking a much needed break. It's funny, this time of year, I think we've said before, our busy season is always during the time that our clients are the slowest, because we're doing extra things to make sure that we keep them busy, and then our clients get real busy and we have a chance to take a breath for a minute. And that usually happens right around Labor Day. So here we are, just right around Labor Day. I think all of our team is looking forward to having a little bit of just a chance to catch our breath. So, but I'm excited to be with you today. We're going to be talking about a subject that we talk about a lot, but it's worth talking about in different ways and different angles, because it really is one of the most important things that you can do as a small business owner of a home service business, and that is encouraging customers to leave reviews. Let me just start by saying this, okay? In our current world, the way that we're so bombarded with requests and calls to action and messages and everything else, that reviews, unless you're diligent about it, reviews don't just happen. You will get so few reviews about your place of business if you're not asking for them. And by so few, I mean you will get the occasional review. Chances are it's going to be somebody who is either a friend of the owner or somebody who is really ticked off about the job that was just done and they want to go tell the world about it, right? So you leave it to chance, and you just take what you get. And a lot of times the reviews are going to sound a little over the top, right? Because it's a friend who's really wanting to help you, and sometimes they try too hard, or somebody who is really, airing a grievance. And so it really is important to ask. And that's the first point. So we're going to talk about these 3 ways to encourage customers to leave reviews. And the first one is just ask. You have not because you ask not, right? So what we're talking about here, though, is doing the asking in a way that gets you the kind of result that you're really looking for. It's asking at the exact right time, in the exact right way, that elicits a yes, a response that somebody, yes, they're going to leave you a review. So being direct about it, letting people know, in today's world, our business lives and dies by the kinds of reviews that we get online. If we've had a chance to serve you successfully today and you're pleased with the work we've done, we would absolutely love it if you'd take just a minute of your time to go to Google or Facebook and leave us a review, to tell the world about why you think they should choose us. So being direct about it is okay. In fact, it's absolutely expected. It is okay to ask. Customers almost always appreciate being asked, because they oftentimes don't think about it. They don't think about just leaving a review. Okay, they're busy. It's like, yeah, I checked this big thing off my list. They're gone. Now I can get back to life, right? So they don't oftentimes think about leaving you a review. But the other thing they don't think about is how much a review might impact the businesses that they've patronized, and how helpful it could be if they took just a minute to share their experience with other people. And so when you ask for a review, they appreciate the fact that this is something that could be helpful to them, or to you, and it usually doesn't take them much time. But asking them to do something like this and then making it really hard for them to do is where most people fall off the cliff. That's where most people drop off and decide not to do it, because you've not made it easy for them. So the next thing, number 2, is make it easy. Have a system. So when I talk about making it easy, you don't want to just ask somebody if they'll leave a review and then describe where they need to go online in order to find you. Go to Google and then do a search for our business name, and then in the search results, look for the one that is, that has the stars there and the listing and the map, and then click that, and it'll take you over to the page, and then scroll down a little bit, and then you'll find the reviews section, and then somewhere in there is a link that you click that says write a review. If you're not logged in, then you're going to have to log in at that point, but then you're in a place where you can actually leave the review. Okay, if those are the instructions you're giving to clients, and we used to do this back in the beginning, Google actually made it very difficult to share a link with consumers that took them right to the spot where they could leave a review. And so we would have to describe to them where on the page at that given time, right? And it always was changing. So we would, print out directions to hand to a customer so that they could do it. And then 2 weeks later, Google would change the process and put it somewhere else, bury it somewhere else in their structure of their pages, and then you'd have to go digging for it again. And the page that you just printed out and handed to a bunch of people 2 weeks ago is no longer relevant. So that was the world that we lived in. But Google has gotten much better. They've actually created links, permalinks that exist for your business if you have a Google business profile, and you can share that link, and it really does take the consumer directly to the place where they can leave a review. I mean, no clicking at all, just literally entering the link or tapping the link in a text message or in an email, and they're right there where they can leave a review. So it's super easy to do now. Facebook is much the same way. Of course, Google and Facebook both still require you to log in, but if you get them to a mobile device, okay, if you send this link or get them to pull this link up on their mobile device, chances are, if they have a Google or a Facebook login at all, then they're already logged in the apps on their phone and they won't have to log in again. So it's really important to get them to open these up on their mobile phone. So one of the things I really like to do to make it easy is to use QR codes. In fact, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. I hate QR codes. Always have, probably always will. To me, they're just clunky technology to try to bridge the gap between offline and online. They're ugly. There's a whole lot of reasons I don't really care for them. But I will say that in the case of getting reviews, QR codes are pretty hard to beat, and they can be made really easy to share with a customer, especially when you're right in front of the customer. And this is the time you want to be asking for a review. If you're waiting 2 days until you send an invoice or a follow-up or something to see, if they leave you a review, you've already lost a lot of your mojo with them. Their memory is already dimming regarding what their experience was with you. They're already moved on to 12 other things, and they're just not thinking about, the warm fuzzies that you left them with. And so we want to make sure that we're asking for the review when we're in front of the customer, getting them to say, yeah, I'll leave you a review while we're standing there. Because when they tell a person that they'll do something, there's a higher likelihood that they're actually going to follow through. But even more than that, when they say, yes, I'll leave you a review, while you're still standing in front of them, you can just tap a link on your phone that has that QR code on the screen. And, you can create this very easily. You can ask your guy to help you with this, to create the QR code and just put it on a page on your site, and then bookmark that page on every one of your technicians' devices so that they can literally just tap it on their screen, just like an app. It'll pull it up in a browser, and then they can just turn their phone around and say, why don't you scan this QR code with your phone real quick, and it'll take you right to the spot where you can leave a review after I leave. Okay, now you're standing here like this until the person does what? Until they do what you're asking them to do, because gosh, you're making it so easy for them. So they're going to scan your phone, they're going to scan the QR code, and guess what? It's going to take them right to that spot. And that's exactly what you want. So leading them right to the point while you're still in front of them is absolutely the best way I know of to get the review. There's some research that shows that coming back a couple of weeks later still is effective, and that you will still get some reviews at about the 2-week mark. So if you don't get the review right then, it's still a good idea to send it in an email. But, again, having a system and making it easy for them, you should be putting that review link at the bottom of every invoice, the bottom of every receipt, the bottom of every email, put it in a text message to them. These are the ways that you constantly remind people. I'll say this as well. It's okay to spiff your employees when they ask for the review. When they ask a customer for a review and then that customer leaves a review, it should be fairly easy for you in the office or for that technician to recognize and see that review and go, hey, that was my customer. And if you spiff them something, and I mean not like an insignificant something, I've seen people spiff $100 per review. Every one of those reviews is a gold coin in your business. So it's not unheard of to really be aggressive about reminding your employees, especially the technicians in the field, to be asking for those reviews and hopefully getting them. I will say you do not want to spiff your customers. Google, Facebook, Yelp, all of them have policies that penalize companies for compensating customers for leaving reviews. It's considered bad form. It's considered, you're paying somebody to give you a good review essentially, and they're not going to be honest with you when they're receiving compensation. That's the thinking, and I don't necessarily disagree. So don't offer to give your customers 20% off their next service if they leave you a review. Don't offer to send them a gift card. Just leave your customers out of it. Okay, you've done a really good job for them, and in exchange for that, not something else, but in exchange for the fact that you did a really good job, you'd like them to recognize that by leaving a review. Okay, but with your employees, absolutely, don't be afraid to spiff them. Create contests. I know most techs in the field, they get really competitive with one another. You can do this around sales. You should be doing this around sales, but you can also do this around reviews. Who's going to get the most reviews this month? And then, reward the technician who got the most reviews in a given month with something extra. So that's a really good idea. Set the expectation. This is the third one. Okay. And we're going to leave it at this one, but set the expectation. Leave nothing to chance. When we talk about this, what I mean is, I'll give you a great example. I have a cleaner that comes and cleans our house every other week. And when I first signed up with them to come for the first time, they told me what the process was going to be like when they came. So, we're going to send this many cleaners to your house. They're going to spend this amount of time. These are the things that they're going to do while they're there. And then at the end of that, they'll walk around the house with you just to make sure that if there was anything that they did differently than how you'd like for them to do it, they can take notes about next time how you want them to do something, areas that you want them to pay special attention to or whatever. But then once you're happy with everything, you'll be given a chance to leave a review. Okay. And we would really appreciate it if at that time you would leave a chance. And they went on to say, your review, let me just find it on my phone and read it to you, because it really is, I get this text message every other week when they come to my house. Hello, Carter. Thank you for allowing us to clean your home. Tipping is always appreciated. That wasn't the one. I get that one too. So please take a second to tell us how we did at the link below. Remember, at our company, you decide the level of pay your team receives. So the review that I leave is highly specific for the team that was at my house. I try to learn their names if I'm here at the house when they come so that I can mention them by name in my feedback. But based on my review, if I'm super happy with it, then my positive review actually helps them, make a little bit more money. So I feel very empowered by my review to not only help the company, with getting a really good, star rating in their Google reviews, but I also know that by mentioning them by name, the cleaners by name, that I'm actually helping them make a little extra money too. So that's another incentive for me. And it really helps. So, but the thing that I'm trying to bring to your attention is the fact that they set an expectation that part of the transaction here is at the end of it, the transaction isn't complete until I leave some kind of feedback for them. And, fulfill that part of it. And so it was not only implied, it was an express indication that this is the way that this appointment, or every single appointment, is going to end. And so I have a chance to, I know it's coming. I know that I'm going to get that text message. And when it shows up, guess what? We've been using this cleaner over a year now. Every single time they come to our home, I get that text message. And what do? I go and I leave feedback. They make it super easy for me to do. It's in a text message. I click in one place and I go and leave feedback. And occasionally I will take the extra step, and because they have a system that allows me to copy and paste that feedback, and I can quickly leave a Facebook or a Google review. And I've left both Facebook and Google multiple times. So, which is okay. Customers can do that. I'm a happy customer. I really like this company, and I want to show them that. And they've made it easy for me to leave reviews, and so I do. And because they expect that of the process, then I just know I'm not done yet. I haven't finished my end of the transaction until I've left that review. So you can do that just through signaling, through every CSR talking to a new customer about what to expect. We're going to come to your home. This is what we're going to do. It's going to end this way, and then you'll be given a chance to leave a review to help us understand how we did, or to tell other people about the work that we do, whatever it may be, however you decide to phrase it. And that's a really powerful thing. You're leaving nothing to chance. You're setting it up so that it's absolutely baked in. The person knows leaving a review is expected. And you should expect it from both your employers or employees and your customers. Expect from your employees that they will ask for the review. Let them know that you have not fully done the job that you were sent to do unless you have asked for a review before you've left. And if you don't feel like you did a good enough job, or this customer is not happy enough to leave you a review, then perhaps you need to examine what was done or how it was done, to see if that can be remediated even before you leave the house, to make sure that you get to the place that you've done the job that you feel comfortable asking for the review. So that's a key part. Make that expectation of your employees, but also make that expectation of your customers that we're going to come to your house. We're going to show you a QR code to scan to leave a review, so that when it happens, nobody's surprised. Everybody's just fulfilling an expectation for a job well done. All right, that is what I've got for you today, and it looks like we're pretty early on time too. So I'll return the rest of this time to you today to go do what you need to do. I hope you're having a pretty day. We're having a beautiful day here. It is actually 80 degrees outside with a heat index that feels like 80 instead of like the inside of an air fryer, and it's beautiful. So I'm going to go sit on the porch, I think, and work out there for the rest of my day. I want to just remind everybody, Spark Live is also released as a podcast. And here's a little tip for you, or an ask, if you will. I'm going to directly ask here, and I want to make it easy for you. In the places where you listen to this podcast, whether you're listening on Facebook or listening on YouTube, or listening on Spotify, iTunes, all of the different places, wherever you listen and consume this podcast, there is a place there to leave a review. And we're going to leave with this in the show, in the comments below this in Facebook. We'll leave all the places where you can go and leave a review. Just click one of those links. And if you would, just tell other people that this is something that they should listen to as well. I would really appreciate that. And thank you for that, especially. Next week, Taylor's going to be back, and we'll be talking about professional ways to respond to reviews. So when you get those reviews, not just the fact that it's a good idea to respond to them, but how to respond, like what to say, what tones to use, how to be diplomatic, all of those things. So we're going to talk a little bit about that next week. Hope you'll join us for that. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate the thumbs up and the likes. I've got a couple of comments here. Renee says, thanks for the tips. You're welcome, Renee. Chuck says, having the service tech communicate the review helps them on their annual evaluation and have an SOP on how to provide and ask for the review. Yes, if you run your business by SOPs, and you should, there should be an SOP for how to ask for the review. And it's something I think that can be rehearsed as well. In your stand-up meetings in the morning, pick one of your techs, you be the customer, let the tech be the tech, and ask the tech to ask you for a review and show everybody else how it's done. And drill people on it every once in a while to make sure that they know this is a part of the culture. It's a great idea, Chuck. Thank you for that. Okay, everybody, have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.